All right, so guys, just because you had such good feedback for the last one, not just because we planned it anyway, but thank you guys so much for the last video and all the positive comments and the feedback that you guys liked what we're doing. So
back with some more story time.
Let's do it again. So last time we talked about Colorado and the first time we went there. This kind of feeds off of that a little bit and we go back. So this kind of rolls over into going back to a place where you have pre-expectations.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, preconceived notions of like what it's gonna be. We had the most amazing trip there our first time. So this was 2014. We did the rally all the way out to Colorado, drive through the night, and show up at the trailhead. This time, more cars in the trailhead.
Yeah. Some with born and raised outdoors stickers in them, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
So we roll in there, and this is a cool trip too, because last time Daryl joined us later in the week, same with Trevor. This time we're all going in together. It was, Trent, Trevor, Ty, Steve, you, me, Josh, another guy can't help but film, your dad.
We had everybody.
We even were so lined up that we thought we were going to just stack up the elk. We had a packer lined up to come in, haul meat, and
we're diving back into those preconceived notions.
Yeah, that expectations was really high.
And what you guys saw in the last video was when Kody killed that giant bull and that other big bull came in afterwards. We're in the same spot. Yeah. We are in the same area as that, and it's just one of those things, and this kind of feeds off of why we always say, you know, we try to hunt different places every year because we think that we hunt a lot harder when we do that.
Yeah, it's kind of always like, oh, I want to get over that ridge and see what's over there, and or, you know, I want to go check out that bottom down there in the timber. And we just kind of, I think we hunt more effectively, more efficiently, where before you're like, hey, this is good here, and we went there, and then the elk weren't there. And you're always kind of, then this little voice in your head starts second guessing, what should we move? What should we do? This isn't what it was last time. And it kind of comes back to like that saying you hunt the elk and not the country. And every year's different. The snowpack is different. They may not migrate up as much. And so it's just, you got all these variables that you never know. And so you have to kind of start every year clean slate. And
yeah.
This trip definitely taught us to start with a clean slate.
Yeah. So we moved all new areas, and let's see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go, oh, 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 where down we go, oh, 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 oh. So where down we go, oh, 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 way down we go. Oh, you let your feet run wild. Time has come as we all
what
down.
just happened?
For the fall, ooh, my heart. Do you dare to look me right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, 'cause they will run you down to the door. Yeah, someday we'll run you down till you fall. And they will run you down till you go. Yeah, till you can't grow no more. And we're down.
You know, we've grown up hunting Oregon our whole lives, and you know, it's always been a dream of ours to just pick a spot on a map and go there. You can do what's a little uncomfortable and make a dream come true, because this has been one of the greatest experiences that I've ever been part of. So I'm tagged out. It just, everything came together. Myself, Ty, and my dad, we're going home. And got to go back to work and get to see our families. But the other crew, the other 4,
That's sex appeal.
we're back at it. And they're going to be hitting Colorado hard. They're literally going to pick a spot on a map and say, let's go there. We've never been there before, but it's an adventure. And I guarantee you, it's going to be worth it.
So this is one of those things, like, we did this video actually for Full Draw Film Tour, and it was kind of that shock and awe. Just going back through watching that, it's just really cool to see all the memories that
It does jog your
about.
memory.
Yeah, exactly.
It jogs
Like,
your memory.
all the experiences packing meat out in the dark and in the snow and everything else. But we got to Colorado. Trevor killed a bull, only one bull with all 7 of us hunting.
Lots.
In 8 or 9 days,
Yeah.
and that was the only elk. So we went from the trip previous to killing 3 bulls, having close opportunities, to that one bull. And so that was literally one of those moves where we talked about, let's just go to a new spot, clean slate, figure it out, and
Made some calls. Called south, remember?
South Cox, Sarissa and said, hey, I mule deer hunted this area, and I heard bugles all the time.
Like, that's good enough for us.
So we drove all the way across the state of Colorado and roll up on a trailhead, and this is what we found.
We slept under the pickup last night. We drove all night and everything, and got about 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Made it here today, packed everything all up, repacked all our stuff, and so we're expecting, hopefully no one's here, you know, a little secret spot, kind of a honey hole place. And
So many trailers.
Horse trailers.
This is a hard part, like, and we fought some of this. Just sometimes there's just a lot of people, but there's a lot of area, and you just kind of gotta go and just believe in what you're doing.
I think that is totally, couldn't be truer, is you've got to block a lot of stuff out, I think, and go, okay, we believe in ourselves enough, and especially when you see all those horse trailers. When you see horse trailers, sometimes you gotta think, those horses, people aren't going 2 miles on a horse usually.
Yeah.
They're going way back in there. There's a huge buffer zone in that 1 to 5 mile range that a lot of people don't even hunt.
Yeah, so it definitely it caught us off guard, but it was like, we don't have any other place to go. We only got 5 days to hunt. Let's go figure this out.
climb a mountain and see what we can find. Just kind of how we roll.
Face paint, must. Boulder Field, terrible.
Remember the elk trails through the Boulder
It
Field?
was unbelievable. There was more rock in that hunt, like these big scree?
Yeah,
Scree fields?
That 6x6, remember that?
That was cool. Aspen, I've always wanted to kill an elk in an aspen grove just like that, and I don't think we've ever done it. Been around them in there, but never have actually made it happen. Because then you can carve on a tree.
This is the first time that we'd kind of hunted around cattle. I remember that
awesome.
was like.
You always feel like you're all around elk because you're smelling things all the
Yeah,
time.
it smelled like a barnyard. I mean, I just, like right here, bugling over cows. It's like, kind of,
As long as there's elk close.
I don't know, Josh. Just wait. Let's go. Come on.
But we did hear a bull bugle.
Yeah, and that's what we were jacked about, like getting in there and like hunting our style, which is very vocal, very aggressive, and hearing a bull bugle. And the neat thing about this area that we were hunting was we didn't run into a ton of elk, but the ones that we did, they wanted to play our game.
Yeah,
They would play, and they would actually respond. And as you can see right here with Steve Reno, they would come in close, very close.
So you're filming here.
Yeah, so it's probably some Spielberg stuff. Maybe a little out of focus. Maybe there's the ground. And I'm running. Yeah, figured it was going to be good. That elk was on top of us so fast, it was like running at us. And Steve wasn't passing him up. That's a nice bull.
Yeah, it is.
This is me trying to autofocus. There's a lot of things going wrong here. Just takes an arrow. Almost keeps moving.
Yeah, yeah.
That we talk a lot, and in the preview, in the intro, you guys saw quite a few frontal shots. So we've talked quite a bit about that in the past, but the frontal shot that we've found can be super, super deadly, super lethal if done if not getting cocky with it. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 20 top pin in it, and is what we've done and experienced. And
Don't say that, because there might be a shot that's a little further than that later on in the video, but go ahead, Kody.
Yeah, and so it's one. I mean, I'll put a link in the description below. You guys can watch. We talk about how to take a frontal shot. It's just kind of our experience. We really feel like it's a very ethical shot. And if, you've got a pretty good opening right there in that thoracic opening up front, we kind of like that quartered on scenario versus a straight on. You just got to pay attention to where those vitals are height-wise, and it's deadly. We've seen them go down in 40 yards. So
Very deadly, very deadly. Roll that beautiful footage.
this is always a little nerving. Like,
This bull runs out there and stands there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Quite a while. So and Steve can't get another arrow through here. That's what we're kind of debating right now. Bull walks out of our lives, and we're like, okay, how do we feel about it? Because I had such good focus on the animal at the time, we reviewed the shot, and it
sunk that. Yeah, it was fletch deep.
Yeah, it was clear all the way in, and that's what we've experienced with the frontal shot. Like, if you're going to hit shoulder blade on each side, you're not going to get any penetration at all. It's not going to. It's going to make a bruise. Is what it's going to do. It's not going to kill the elk. So you have to get that arrow in that, like Kody was saying, that thoracic opening. You have to get in there in order to get down into the vitals where heart, lung, all that stuff is located.
The coolest thing is, drove all night, got in there late in the evening the night before. This is our first full day in there, and shot a bull.
Was that the first day?
Yeah, it was first day in there. And it's like, I think the thing that we've taken over the years is everything can happen so fast or change so fast. No elk, no elk, no elk, and then all of a sudden you kill a bull in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We kind of talk about it only takes one scenario, and this was one of those experiences.
Yes.
I remember I was glassing this thing, and it's like,
You already saw it?
Yeah, I already saw it. It's like, Steve, look at all that.
Oh, there he is right there. Yes! I was waiting for it so bad.
Every one of Steve's reactions are priceless.
Yes.
You just got to take it all in. They are the best.
Straight raw.
Let's go get him.
Buried to the flesh.
Buried to the fletch. You saw right where that was placed. Usually it's right where the black and the brown on an elk, right where those two colors meet is the height that you want. It's actually higher than you think on an elk.
It's a nice thing hunting with 4 guys, one trip. We quarter this thing up, pack it out, down to a creek bottom, and then hang it up for the night.
Yeah, it was
And then keep hunting.
fast and easy. And we're carving. It's not an aspen grove, but it's close.
It'd be kind of cool to go back to that tree at some point.
It would be cool if we were hunting. And we're done, packed up, elk in hand, headed to some cooler drainage. So what we did with his bull is we actually took it down to this creek that was right by where we were camping at that time, and hung it down in this cold creek bottom. So it was good for days until later on we had a packer come in and come get it. So it worked out great.
We get a lot of questions just on meat care, and this is kind of a good example. In September, temperatures in the 70s during the day, low 40s to in the 30s at night. And you can definitely have meat hanging, using good game bags. The thing about it is down in the cool, in the shade, you don't have any sun. You definitely do not want anything that has any access for flies. That can spoil your meat. But we hung this bull we ended up 3 days, I think,
at
before
least.
we got it out of there, and never lost an ounce of meat on it.
Nope.
So, yeah, it's definitely, I think a lot of people are like, oh, during archery season, I got to kill it and get it out that night. And it's not so much the case. It's biggest having airflow, getting that crust on that outside protective layer, and
And getting it off the hide, right? I mean, getting that cooled down as quick as possible. As soon as you kill an animal, you need to start that cooling process as quick as you can. And once you start that cooling process to go from 98.7 degrees down, that's when your meat care is that's the whole beginning of the process, and that's the best thing you can do for it.
And the other side of it too is not boning it out right at that moment.
Correct.
We like to hang it on the bone. You don't have as much dry loss as you do if you bone it out in order to do it.
Yep. Keeping those arteries open too, and all those veins open to where it can drain as well.
The decision to come to a new area was pretty tough to come
This
up
is
with.
an idiot
It's
doing
tough to kind of leave
interview.
everything that you knew where to hunt and the ridges and the draws.
The terrain from where we hunted before with all the blowdown and everything, this is just totally different.
Came here and
It was beautiful. I mean, it had open faces and little meadows and creeks and draws, and it was
pristine
like
elk
your
country.
it was like your textbook elk country, if you would call it. There's my Aspen Grove.
Aspen Grove. Gosh, we almost killed a bull right
It was close. Yeah.
that afternoon. The bull came in, and if I wasn't packing the struggle stick, probably would have got shot. It was a little too far.
Just take the shot. So we get a lot of asked on our music as well that we use in a lot of these videos. Some of it, like now that we're on full on YouTube instead of doing our DVDs, there's a lot of it we cannot use, and so we can't get as cool of music.
Yeah,
I would say, at times.
this artist was actually at a local pub. Trent and I were out with the wives having dinner, and this guy was a one-man band playing the drum, playing the guitar, singing, harmonica, the whole deal.
Awesome.
And yeah, Acoustic Noir was his name of the band.
Walked up, met him, said, "Hey, do you mind if we use your stuff on our hunting DVDs?" And he says, "Yes, go for it, all the way. That would be awesome." So to set the scene, there's a bull bugling up the hill. It's steep. It's really, really steep here. And I can't remember the scenario that year.
Well, specifically, we had this bull going from across the canyon, and it was like a mile and a
Long
half, over a mile, straight across the canyon. So we had to drop.
That's right.
Probably like 700 feet elevation. at
Daylight
least.
was a big thing.
Yeah, so we were pushing on daylight and hit all the way in the bottom. And actually, one of the guys that was with us, he was just like, "There's no way we could go get this thing." And it was like, "You got to try." Like we kind of set a ground rule of we never walk away from a bugling bull until you're out of light or you're winded and it's gone. Don't ever give up on it. And this was definitely one of those scenarios. Like the doubt's going, I don't know if we can get up there in time. I don't know if this is going to happen, but
But it was all we had.
it's all we had. Yeah,
We didn't have
It's
any
like,
other thing to go on.
back to our tent. And
So we could have, yeah, that was all we had, is to talk to each other and say, "Time to go."
that chuckle.
So Kody and I are both shooters. We both split up. I actually put Kody in the. You were
Yeah,
in the
I
A
thought-
spot.
yep.
You were in the spot where we thought the bull was going to come in. I was backup shooter over across the way, and the bull happens to kind of take a circle across, and
Yeah, Josh is back calling and Steve's filming.
yeah.
This is insane.
To try to draw at the right time is a kind of a. It's some people
Early and often.
Early and often, you try to try to gauge it just right so you're not holding too long. But here's that frontal again. He just happened to be bugling in the middle of it. This shot was 27 yards, I believe it was. It's it does not look like it, but it is straight uphill almost. It's super, super steep. And it shot him right, honestly, in the heart.
Yeah,
When the bull goes right here, he's dead. He falls down.
Heard him crash.
Heard him go down right there.
Oh, that's still one of my favorite elk.
It was cool. It was really, really cool.
It doesn't look steep, but it was.
It was steep.
Yeah.
I remember we drugged that bull all the way down the
Yeah.
hill when we took care of him because it was so steep. Because it was a.
And here's the bro hug.
And then
People like to
then the
say.
crying, and then and then you can fast forward for the next little while. No, this is what it's all about.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's amazing. Like sitting back now, you relive those emotions of we had ground. I mean, we were grinding for days and miles and miles and miles every single day. And anyway, to just get to this point.
To kill 2 bulls in 2 days was just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was emotional and awesome.
Blackhorn 5-point.
There he is.
This was the curse of 6 points for Trent.
Oh yeah,
At this point, you'd never had the opportunity to shoot a 6-point.
no, never had. No.
I mean, you can see all the rafter it was just like he's killed more bulls than all of us and never killed a 6-point.
just a 5-point madness.
Yeah.
But that changed, and maybe some of the videos coming up.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll definitely maybe talk about it. So I have a thing where I put my arrow in the tree. I find a tree close by. Usually, I get bad rap for it. Sometimes people say I'm littering or whatever. Yeah, I apologize, but that's just kind of a tradition that I've done for years and years and years, and I've never actually ever, I don't think, been back to a tree
No.
that I've found it before, just because we hunt different spots every time. But that's what I've always.
It's
what I've done.
It's like that.
It's like.
I think it's one of those things when you stumble across cool stuff in the woods, you're like, what the heck's going on here? But
Yeah.
it's definitely a pretty cool deal.
Everybody has their own little thing, I think. And then
favorite,
the best part.
Camp tenderloin.
Then the best part. So that's another tradition we do. Every bull that we kill, they have to donate their tenderloins
To
the camp. So at night we start up a fire if we're allowed, or if in a spot we can. And I always bring some seasoning in, a little thing of seasoning, and do the tenderloins over the fire. And
Instant mashed potatoes and tenderloin.
it's pretty awesome. Oh man.
So to kind of fill out this story that not a lot of people know is we killed these 2 bulls way back in there, and now we're going, okay, there's 4 of us, we're doing the math, how many miles, we got to get home, how's this all going to go down? Well, we had was it the sat phone? Yeah, or no.
We had a radio and
How
a
did we get
channel.
hold of Trevor? Was this the
Remember they had
DeLorean? InReach.
No, it was a sat phone. We had
That's-
South sat phone is what
That's
we had.
right. So we were able to call Trevor. He looked up outfitters in the area, made a connection with his outfitter, and she said, yeah, we could probably pack your meat. So get on the radio at 7 o'clock and we'll do it. And she gave us this channel. So here we are sitting around 7 o'clock.
amazing.
Talked to her and said, hey, we're up here and we got a bull down. This was before we killed the second one. And she goes, yeah, we can do a pack out in 2 days. Just meet me where the trail crosses a creek, and that's where we pack the meat to. And it was really a pretty cool story. This gal, her great-grandfather had homesteaded the area. Her husband's great-grandfather did the same thing, homesteaded. She met her husband, and this gal was probably 60.
Anyway.
Yeah, which we actually ran into her on the trail on the way in, and she was like,
She's so
where are
awesome.
you boys headed?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like, up the mountain. She was just like, okay, good luck.
You guys are idiots.
We'll come to find out it's the same gal that shows up to pack her meat.
Yeah.
And she rolled in, and she was supposed to be there at 9 a.m., and she got there, it was like 9:30. No big deal. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, so sorry, I'm late. My husband fell and slipped in the shower and broke his hip, and I sent him in the ambulance this morning. And she took a mule string all by herself.
She'd done it many times.
Many
though.
times.
Many times.
And came in there, helped us pack her meat out, and it was just one of those things. Like we've never shared that story, but
Right.
it was a really cool experience having her come in and hearing her stories of outfitting that country since she was just a little kid. She'd been through that country.
And I think it's a lot of these trips, you see this and you relive that moment, but to add to all that, it's the people that you meet on these trips that don't get on these films, that don't see, that nobody knows that you ran into, or you know what I mean? It's just, it's so fun to just like look back at it and be like, man, we made a friendship there. We ended up sending her a bunch of DVDs later on and stuff like that. But back in the DVD days, but it was just the people that you meet, the blessings that you get just from that. I mean, the hunting, honestly, at the end of the day, that's what we say, go out and do it. It's just a bonus. And it's not success. I always say this in a lot of my emails. It's success is never measured by the punching of a tag or the, or the horns on the wall. It's measured on what you've learned and how much fun you've had doing it and the experiences that you've made and the friendships that you developed. And so, anyway, guys, that's this one. And I hope you guys enjoy the behind the scenes.
All right, we'll see you on the next one. Some more story time.
Like and subscribe.